Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? I'm hoping it's well. I'm hoping it's very well, to be honest with you. Because it's a nice Saturday afternoon. Or evening. I don't know. Basically, I'm going to explain what's happened for my past bunch of hours. Started yesterday, worked all day, then football, and then watched the football. And then ended up staying up until about 11 a.m.-ish, at which point I got to sleep because I was working stupid hours this morning, and I was like, cool, I don't know if I've got time for a proper sleep, so right. Which meant I woke up about an hour and 40 minutes ago, because I've got another stupidly time to 5 hours. I'm very tired. And it feels like the football match everyone is still mad about after about 10 minutes ago. Also, I'm going to make this display. But yeah, music be loud and me be quiet. Why is it like this? I don't understand. What's going on? Well. Focus just like Monk. He's way too cautious and he's going to cost us promotion just like last season. He plays for draws and tries to hang on to a thought. Jesus fuck Clive. I have read some dumb stuff in my time. I would really, really desperately quite like you to explain to me how being 2-1 up with 15 seconds left of a match. Fuck you, camera. Good timing. But I would rather like you to explain to me how leading a game 2-1 with 15 seconds left is playing for a draw. Because when you think about it, surely in that case we would have stopped playing after the equaliser from Joel Piru, no? No? From that point, we arguably wouldn't be going forwards at all. From that point, we'd say, oh, it's 1-1. Piru scored. If we're playing for 1 point, if we're playing for the draw, you wouldn't have Junior Firpo pushing forward and scoring the second. Oh my God. Just think for like 15 seconds. It's an individual error that is the reason we didn't get 3 points. Stop talking bollocks. And maybe people will listen. Maybe people will listen. But then again, you gotta gain those people's trust by not talking bollocks for a sustained period of time. I don't know if you've got that in you. I believe in you. I believe you can do it. But it's about believing in yourself. I didn't say he was playing for a draw last night. So where the fuck has this come from? So what's your complaint here? Because because we're talking about the football match that just happened, my guy. God. Dear. But it was hanging on for the win. Because that's what happens. Because you play a team that's at the top of the league, they're not just going to roll over and be like, actually, yeah, you can score 4 goals against me if you want. It's fine. We'll just deal with it. That's not... Ah! And he played for a draw at West Ham. West Ham, Brom. Because days before that, the entire tactical plan had been ripped up because we'd lost our one creative player in midfield. And you know this, but you're still spreading bollocks. And I would hate to live in your version of the world in which anything less than a win is depressing and means that you need to sack a manager or something like that. Because at the end of the day, it's fine. things can be okay without complete head loss. And a lot of people do not seem to acknowledge that fact. That's nice. That's cute. Well done. They've now got a new manager and are top of the league. Manchester City in the 90s, I think, were in League One. That means that no one should ever lose a game of football to them, right? Or are we accepting that things in the past are in the past and things change over time? Like, come on. Grow up a little bit and actually think. And I know it might cause you a little bit of a headache, but you've got it in you. I believe in you. And I don't understand this whole narrative about we were scared of Sunderland. We're the only team to have scored against Sunderland at the Stadium of Light this season. The only one. No one else has done it. And we did it not once, but twice. That doesn't scream fear to me. That screams we were actually a team that was willing to play against them. And we did. And we would have won. And sorry, I thought you said a little bit earlier that you weren't talking about last night's match. I thought you said that you were talking about other matches that happened this season in which we were playing for draws. Don't understand. It feels like with this fan base, 99% of the time, people are just looking for something to be pissed off about. Why are you talking to me like I'm an idiot? Because, right? Because, and this might give you a bit of a headache. It doesn't scream a team that is scared of Sunderland when I'm going to run you through all of these numbers right now, and you tell me which side comes out of that looking cautious and scared, right? Leeds United 2, Sunderland 2. Expected goals, Leeds 2.32, Sunderland 1.82. Big chances, Leeds 3, Sunderland 2. Total shots 15 for Leeds, 14 for Sunderland. That's the very basic top line stats. We also had more passes than them, more tackles than them, so we're getting into it more physically. They got more bookings than us because that means that we were able to play the transitional aggressive stuff against them. The reason I'm talking to you like you're someone that doesn't pay attention to any of the information that has happened is because you are not paying attention to any of the information that's happened. You've gone into that game against Sunderland going, things are broken fundamentally. And then we didn't win a match because of an individual error from a goalkeeper. And you're saying, yeah, well, this is evidence that the system's fucked. No, it's not. Not even a little bit. This is evidence that increasingly more and more people do not know what they're looking for in a game of football. Because you're not looking at a game of football as, okay, so what happened in what order and what does it mean for the team? The way that you have decided to watch this game of football is you've gone, right, okay, I've gone into this with my pre-established conclusions. Where is the evidence that can add up to my conclusion? Rather than where is the evidence to add up to the correct conclusion, which is whatever has happened. You don't go into a crime scene saying it was Timmy from number 4. No, you go into a crime scene going, right, where's all the fingerprints and all that sort of stuff? This is right. I'm not bothering anymore, Clive. I don't think so. But on this, something very interesting, right? I sent Joe a video to prove it hit a duvet. I think you went for divot in the ground, and it went past Melier. So. I did a thing when I was needing to stay up for work. I did a thing where I was like, you know what? I've got an idea. I've got a fun idea. I'm going to go into a video editing delusional hellhole. Because, to be clear, because I know dickheads on the internet will spin anything that they want in any direction that they want. So, before that has to happen, I have said multiple times that Melier made a stupid mistake that should not have happened, and the fact that it did happen is a very, very, very big problem. Simultaneously, you can acknowledge that there were mistakes. So, this is where I slid into my little hole of, okay, so what happened, why it happened. And what happened, why it happened was a video that I popped up on my Twitter that I saved under the name of Definitely Not Copium. Let's have a look, shall we? And see whether or not it was the completely piss easy catch that everyone says. It's not playing. That's good. Thank you, StreamYard. Oh. Damn. Wait, never mind. Oh, what's this? There's a divot. And it bounces in the divot. It is a smug little muddy prick that ruined our day. Absolutely. And yes, he should have gotten to the ball before the bounce. It's horrendous. Dodgy bounce can beat anyone, and it is absolutely copium. I accept this. I fully acknowledge this. And it's decided to loop. Thank you so much, Mr. Video. I did not ask you to do that. But yeah. If I fail to go, will I apologize for what? Disagreeing with you? No. Because people can disagree with people. That's fine. I don't know. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry, Clive. I shouldn't have said those things that were contrary to your opinion. It's called disagreement, my guy. It's fine. Like, come on. Fox said he's the best keeper in the league, needs eyes testing. Okay, right, so counter to this, and this is an interesting point of conversation that I've seen quite a lot of, right? If you're a football manager of any player, anywhere, and your response to a footballer once they've made a mistake is to, in front of the press, in front of many people, go, yeah, he's completely useless. I don't know why. I think we should crucify him, to be honest with you. I think everyone that's online shouting at him is actually in the right, and I think it's a really, really good idea to continually make threats of violence against a goalkeeper. Do you think if a goalkeeper, not a goalkeeper, do you think if a manager comes out and says those things, yeah, sure, people on Twitter might think, oh, I respect him so much now, he says it like it is. Or do you think he completely loses the dressing room? Because if you go into work tomorrow, right, and someone give me an example, sorry, you work at Greg's, and you put in a cook full of sausage rolls, but you've done the timer a little bit wrong, right? And what you've done is you've burned all the sausage rolls. Not great. Do you want your manager to say to all of the customers, sorry, had a little bit of an issue, things will be all right next time? Or do you want them to go to the customers and say, yeah, that dickhead in the back, they burned all of the sausage rolls. They're the reason that you can't have the sausage rolls. And actually, I think you should start complaining about them online and demanding they be unemployed. The sort of normalization of abuse and being a prick in like the football discussion space is wild. And on this one, right? Where are we? Really hope the fan base don't get toxic again and still on. They already have. They did like this instantly. It took 0 time for it to turn around. He's already had death threats, and because it's a fucking example. Because sometimes you got to apply things to context. Because as much as you might be like, oh, well, he's paid a lot of money, so I deserve to treat him however I like. Because that's all that I've seen on Twitter many times. I've seen plenty of people going like, yeah, well, he shouldn't make a mistake because he's paid X amount of money. That doesn't matter. He's still a person. Mistakes still happen. And he's still a person where if a ball bounces off a hole in the ground, then it can bounce funny. And yeah, he should have caught it. Does that mean that he should have death threats? Absolutely fucking not. So that's why I'm trying to bring it into a context that people might understand a little bit more. If you go into your workplace, worst example ever, mate, do better. Okay, tell me what your job is right now. Because if you work in accounting and you do something wrong with a tax form, something like that, would you enjoy it if customers came into your business and went, you fucked up the tax form? Well, I've got a list of 7,000 tweets calling you a prick, saying that you don't care about your job. And, well, the thing is, you tried to laugh it off as well with someone that trained you at a company a few years back. So I think at the same time, it's completely valid that you get death threats. No, absolutely not. A job is a job. At the end of the day, a person is a person. A person can make mistakes. And the worst bit is this entire conversation is skipping out. By the way, thank you, David. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm. You can disagree. It's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I don't. It's fine. Also on this, I had a fun little conversation with someone about stuff. Long story. And it was significantly about the difference between excuses and explanations. That's where I think we need to recognize the difference, because I'm not excusing it. I'm saying it was a big mistake and it was not good. It's not providing an excuse to say that it was a mistake and he should have done better, but at the same time, don't horrifically abuse the guy. That's not excusing it. The Divity thing is an explanation. Yeah, should have still done better, but it's explaining why he's misread the movement on the ball. That's the extent of it. Typical channel where everyone has to agree or they can't appear on the Just Show. One, I don't decide who is on the Just. Do you think I'm like the puppet master playing Thunderbirds with Joe Wainman and deciding who goes on his channel? Because I am very much on not that channel. That's not where you are right now. Like that's not where we are here. This is Joe Blackburn. I guess I am sort of just Joe in the fact that I am the only one here and my name is Joe. And this is a football show. Guys, I've cracked it. Was this the Just Joe football show all along? Have I always been the Just Joe football show? Wait, is there a way for me to not be the Just Joe football show? It's the only show that I do where there's also this, yeah. Said chat yesterday wasn't exactly a good spot to be in. So as much as you say everyone has to agree or they can't appear on the Just Joe show, one, as I've mentioned, not my channel, not my conversation to have. But JT disagreed significantly. I have talked to many of a content creator, and absolutely everyone has said it was a horrible mistake. It wasn't good. All I've done is sort of show, look, here's an explanation as to why you might have misread it. And also at the same time, don't give a guy death threats. And if you're giving a guy death threats, maybe don't do that. Because, and hold on, right. I was having a conversation. I say a conversation with someone on Twitter. you can't really have many a conversation with people on Twitter. Because the extent of a tweet that I posted was quick reminder for Leeds fans tonight, just because you're behind a screen, it doesn't give you a total license to be abusive. There's criticism, completely valid. Critique, go for it. And then there's down. Right, okay. Just to be completely clear on this, you are saying that we jumped down his throat and had a mob mentality. One, on this one, you'll notice that when it comes to being on um, Joe's channel, a lot of the time I'm fairly quiet. This is because I very deliberately don't do speaking over people. This is because I wait, and a lot of the time there'll be like entire topics of conversation that I don't hop in on because I've waited to be like, right, okay, no, let them finish their point, and then someone else will hop in, and it's like, okay, that's fair because I've let other people speak, so it feels like you maybe. But at the same time, do you want the people that have a different opinion to pretend they don't have the opinion they have just so it looks like it's 3 and 3? Do you want, like, a fake balance to be formed there? Because in a way, that's sort of what you're saying, right? Because that's what conversation is. JT disagreeing with us and us saying, "Okay, I disagree with you disagreeing here. Here's some numbers to back it up. Let's have a conversation about that." That's what discussion is. That's a conversation. You know what is something that is a complete end of conversation and, like, jumping down someone's throat? I wasn't gonna, do a screen share, but I'll do a screen share now. Okay, cool. I had tweeted, "Quick reminder for Leeds fans tonight, just because you're behind the screen doesn't give you total license to be abusive. There's criticism and there's downright vitriol." Again, you can criticize, but the people that turn it into death threats, not good. What is that hair doing? I don't know. It's a game watched to be entertained. It's not worth being genuinely threatening to a guy that made a mistake. No, you're right, man. We shouldn't start jumping down people's throats. You're right. People were just criticizing in a friendly and healthy manner. What was the other one? There was another one further down. Uh, that's not this isn't agreeing for one. But again, fair enough. I mean, if you want to say he's shite, completely within your rights to do that. What was the other one? Ba- 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 ba. That one, no, no, no. It's the guy. Where's he gone? Because there was someone that went in fucking viciously earlier on, and I can't remember what said tweets were. And I can't find them. There we go. Right, okay. So this is after I just say, don't be abusive to people. I also think that the right response to don't be abusive to people is, oh, fuck you, idiot. Thanks for proving me wrong, buddy. I also think it's, did he fuck? This Joe is a fucking wet wipe with a wank YouTube channel. One, not allowed to wank on YouTube. That's against terms of service, and I would not have a YouTube channel if I were to wank on YouTube. So I don't tend to do that. That's for the members only streams. Two, yeah, fair enough. If you don't like the YouTube channel, that's fine. As I mentioned, if it's so wank, you're welcome to stay away. But I'm gonna stand by this of stop letting it affect you this much. Genuinely. Because some guy in Sunderland didn't catch a ball, it has not only ruined your weekend, it has led to you shouting at strangers on the internet for an extended period of time. But I don't know. Gonna hop back into the comments though. I'm always quiet because I'm looking at the stats to prove people are wrong. I'm looking at the stats because I find the stats interesting. I think it was on Not Another Leeds podcast when I was on a couple of weeks ago, and I think it was Danny that said something along the lines of, "I'm really fascinated by how your mind works," and my response to it was, "Oh yeah, it's called autism," and it was like, "Oh yeah, that explains so much. That's why I'm so statsy and stuff like that." And it's like, yeah, the reason that I don't jump in too much in those bits of conversation is like Arlo is currently jumping into the conversation. The reason I don't jump into that conversation is because I very deliberately don't like talking over people. Because I like hearing out people's opinions, because at the end of the day, I'm on YouTube stuff to learn. And before I made my own YouTube stuff, I'll admit, I didn't know that much about Leedsy football. And that's fine, because the amount that you will learn being in Leeds YouTube communities is great. It's brilliant. But that's because, and the reason that I feel like I know more now, is because I've done what I can to listen to people and get other opinions in my head. And it's like, for example, when I ask people onto my channel, when I ask Evie on the channel, or when I ask Crystal on the channel, I don't ask them on the channel because I know they'll agree with my opinion. I ask them on the channel because they are genuine, good, kind people who I know I can have an active conversation with, and I will listen to, and they will listen to me. And it will be a conversation, it won't be grandstanding. And then everyone in the chat goes, "Well done. Excellent. Well said." Because as much as you might say things like proper bully mentality, that's not the case. It's a conversation. If I walk into a room full of 6 people and I say, "Actually, bacon comes from cows," obviously everyone's going to turn around and go, "You're thick as pig shit." This is a less, ironically, pig shit, also not bacon, but is the product of bacon. Anyway. But to a lesser extent, everyone in themselves just disagrees in the case that happens with JT. It's not a bully mentality. It's just saying, "No, okay, I disagree, and here's why." It's a conversation. And if you think that having a conversation with someone that disagrees with you is being bullied, you need to get outside that echo chamber a little bit more often. Because if you don't, then you're going to assume forever that anyone that disagrees with you is being a bully, and that's not reality. Many of you have disagreed, spoken over each other, but are great friends. Yeah. You don't have to agree to be polite and get along with each other, is the perfect way of phrasing that. And with Sean, me and Joe always disagree, and he still gives me the utmost respect. Yeah. And the thing with when Sean goes onto the phone-in shows and stuff like that, one, if it was as echoey chamber as you're pretending, you don't do a phone-in show. The last thing you do is a phone-in show, because people that phone in can be anyone, including Sean, who's an idiot. I'm kidding. You know I'm kidding. But that's where you can have those nice, fun, happy, bantery conversations. That's why when I had that one stream where I was on Joe's phone-in thing, and my job was ask a question at the end, that's why I sort of spent as long as I could crafting a question that would lead Sean to a Farker-in flavoured position, because I was like, yeah, you know what? That's quite funny. And that's disagreement in a positive and respectful manner. And that's great. I love that. It's brilliant. And I think you can disagree with people. That's fine. But the moment it turns into abuse, it gets silly. Yeah, basically, Sean's a wind-up merchant, and Joe knows that, and they wind each other up. And that's why I tried to hop in on that dynamic. And JT, I've got an ongoing theory about JT, and I'm not going to have a conversation with JT about it because I feel like that would potentially ruin the magic of it. But my running theory of JT is that when, how do I phrase it? Okay, the way I've discussed it before is that JT doesn't do conversations on football. JT cuts promos about football. It's wrestling terminology. To cut a promo is to basically do a speech and try and get people over to your side. There's a WWE event tonight, which will be very, very. Um, it's got a Hell in a Cell match, and I guarantee there will be blood, and I'm very excited for that. But I think JT's entire thing is he picks something that is going to be his opinion for a time, and he's going to go in hard, and he's going to cut a promo, and he's going to be like, "Yeah, this is why it's great. This is why it's bad, etc., etc., etc." And that is, I think, a dynamic that people bounce off of by going, well, actually, and then they sort of counter promo rather than make it a conversation. That is, I think, a really interesting dynamic. So it's not like a bullying thing. It's more of a sort of broadcasty dynamic, is the way I'd phrase it. Where were we? Danny's naturally funny in a charming way. Some people think they're funny. On this, by the way, JT might be clever in massage algorithms. Joe must be doing something 10 times more than JT. It's stylistic and it's audience based. I think the content that JT is better suited for is short stuff. This is where I'm going to get a little bit nerdy and stuff because YouTube backend algorithm things really interesting to me, and I admit for many other people not very interesting. What JT's really good at is he's good at really high energy stuff for really short stints of time. That's why I think he'll do really well on TikTok, Reels, YouTube Shorts, all that sort of stuff. Whereas Joe's thing is doing videos that are the perfect length for YouTube to recommend, that are really information dense, that provides everything that a person could need within a day. So he's made himself a position where he's sort of a one-stop shop for Leedsy information and news. It's really well done. But yeah, that was YouTube algorithm chat that I'm sure lots and lots of people aren't actually bothered about. But that's fine. Right, I'll scroll down a bit to some of the more recent comments because I am stupid and haven't followed it. I think Parker will drop Melly in XM. I don't think so, but that's purely because the alternatives we've got aren't great. And the last time we dropped Ilya Melia, we got Joel Robles in, and he conceded more goals per match on average than Ilya Melia did. Also not great. I call JB Michael Cole. Why am I Michael Cole? We'll work something with the 3Js. I really want to do that again. That was really good fun. I hope that can be another thing, but good. Joe won't block Healy because of the generous super chats. I don't know who you mean because I don't really pay that much attention to super chatty things. But to be fair, on the subject of this, Joe, I don't tend to block people anyway, unless you're getting like genuinely horrible on language and stuff. And I've tried to pass that information over to the various mods on this channel and things to say, okay, so only if people are being actually like discriminatory and horrific to people that are visitors on the channel do we do blocking and things like that. But we tend to avoid it. And I would also avoid it if someone was giving me money to say some opinions I disagreed with, to be completely honest with you. A Joby phone in would too readily dissolve into 19th century German philosophy, whether it's better to have 3 hands or 3 feet on pigeons. Obviously, pigeons. Now I'm curious, what were some 19th century German philosophy? I mean, I guess Marx. Yeah, Marx. Kant? Not too asked about Kant. A lot of my, like, Knowledge on philosophy is political philosophy, because politics agree. Anyway, that's not what's relevant right now. Solomon back in 2 weeks. I would hope Solomon will be back in 2 weeks, because that is post-international break, and if he's not, I'd be sad. It's time to give Darlow a chance. Can he be worse? I think he can be vastly worse. Because while she'll get a one-off mistake from Meslier like this, I think we concede vastly more chances if we've got Darlow at the back who is less comfortable with the short passing stuff. I like Meslier, but he's cost us both games this week. If we go up, we'd need a better keeper. I wouldn't blame him for the Norwich one. For the Norwich one, I put that on the fact that we gave away a penalty in the first place. It's the way that he's tried to sort of readjust himself to try and make that save once he's realised it's going the other way that makes him look daft. If he's full committed to the right-hand side, like he could have done, he looks less stupid, but he also doesn't even try to get the ball. At the end of the day, it's the giver away of the penalty that's the problem. Hi, Joe and all. Hope you're doing well. I'm trying to recover from seeing 8 goals in a game I was reporting on this afternoon across Nigeria. Jesus. 3 players were near Brown. They could have closed him down to stop the ball coming off his knee, to stop the ball going near Meslier. The team shouldn't let the ball go anywhere near the box. There's also that, yeah. More could have been done on the first ball, but bit divoty, bit bad catchy. Yeah. I think there's a reason for this, though. Because every time we've seen him in that, I've been a little bit spooked, and I've not really enjoyed it. And you got to remember, like, as much as people will have a go at like Meslier for not saving that penalty earlier in the week, remember last season against Salford, where it was a penalty shootout and twice the ball went between his hands. That wasn't good. Continue the form of 4 wins, 4 draws, 1 loss per 9 games will get promoted. What would that put us on in points terms? I think we'd end up losing a grand total of 5 times, and if we don't get promoted losing 5 times, that'd be insane. But also, that's what, 80-ish points? Maybe a bit more? Probably not enough, to be fair. But I think we'll end up converting some of those draws into wins, because we've gotten reasonably unlucky so far this season. Nietzsche and Schopenhauer. Ooh. Lovely jubbly. Agreed, I hope he regains his confidence as he's actually a decent keeper at this level. I don't trust Darlow and Cairns was good in League 1 and 2, but unproven in the Championship. Yeah, I've seen plenty of people being like, we need Alex Cairns in. And it's like, why? He was at Salford last season, and I feel like he was at Salford for a reason. Holy shit, apparently Anthony Gordon missed a penalty. Ah! It's over 90. Is it? Hang on. I'll have a look at the Championship live standings. Right, okay, so 46 game season. So we'll just multiply our current points total by 5. Yeah, we're currently on 16 points. Multiply by that by 5, we're on 80. I might be in the position where I've done too much not awake over the... No, the other way around. Too much not asleep. Too much wake up over the past 20 however many hours. But I think that is maths. I hope that is maths. If it's not maths and it's literature, then I'm in trouble. Still fifth after today's results, so not too bad. Yeah, and this is another point. We're 3 points off the top. Compare this to last season, where we were something like 7 off top. We're not in the worst of spots. At all. We are a slip up away from being 3rd in the league right now. Would we be 3rd? Maybe 4th anyway. Yeah, fuck it. It's fine. Darlow was good at Hull. I've been told by mates who are Hull fans. I might have to ask around on that one then, because I'm not sure. Hello? Is Melior's mistake the tip of the iceberg, or does he have an encore? Right, the thing with this is, and this is what I think is the reason that a lot of people hate goalkeeping. The reason a lot of people hate goalkeeping is because no matter what you do, you'll have done something wrong. Because you're looking back at yesterday and being like, Meslier was dreadful. All match he was good. All match. Except for 5 or 10 seconds at the end of the game. He was even catching crosses, and I know that a lot of people are like, oh, Meslier can't catch. Clearly can. Clearly did. Buddy, are you okay? I'll be one moment. We are Team Arlo right now. Yes. Hello. Hello, Chief. Hello, Big Chief. Big Chiefito. Little buddy, little bro. Amigo. Hombre. Little picanha. Mwah. Oh, it's so good. He's such a good boy. Look at him. Look at this stupid dog. Look at this stupid dog. Anyway, back to it. Yeah, I think he's unlucky to concede the first goal as well, because the way that it bounced off the post is really, really unfortunate. And there's nothing he can do about that. It's a really good first save. But everyone remembers the bit that goes worst, which is kind of a shame. Anyway, back into where we are. There is this as well. Like, the squad is depleted at the minute. And we've played what was going into it 3 horrifically tough games in 6 days. Coventry, side that were definitely in the conversation last season and clearly have quality players about them and have scored more goals than Borough, who are, well, the same amount of goals as Borough, who are in 9th. And then proceeded to beat Blackburn, just to be completely clear. And they beat Blackburn 3-0. So they're not a bad side. Got a draw against Norwich, who just beat Hull 4-0. And then got a draw against Sunderland. Unlucky to not win, and are the only team that have scored against them when they're playing at home. That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. On this one, it's still a bit his fault. Because I think he made something of an error. Specifically, in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to find the highlights. Why am I getting into the YMCA? I don't know. But someone will remind me to take a quick look at something and do a little bit of goalkeeping conversation in a minute, please. Right, okay, cool. I think if Leeds are outside the top 6 in January, 49ers will get a new keeper. Maybe, but at the same time, I don't think we're going to be outside the top 6. Let's stop pretending that we're a dreadful team. We are currently still in 5th place, and we're only 3 points off the top of the league. They wanted him when we got him, and I think he was expecting to be number 1. I think he was expecting to be, but I don't think he deserves to be. Yeah, this is why I sort of tried to have the conversation online to be like, maybe we don't be really abusive to people, because footballers are also people. Does there any Home Alone traps in the garage? I didn't end up setting any Home Alone traps in the garage. I considered it, but apparently, according to Kayla, bear traps and landmines and smoke grenades and piano wire at throat height isn't something that's allowed. Estelle stands up to the mistake, but he's human. Purpo's reaction was disgraceful because you win together, you lose together, and draw together, you stick together as a team. I understand Purpo's response, because Furpo all season has been working his bollocks off. I'm not going to be mad at him for an irrational emotional response. And I'm sure they'll be having a conversation about it behind the scenes, because that's what you do. You are teammates, you discuss these things. They'll be all right with each other, it's fine. Right, Danny Avellino's hands are just kick the ball into touch. 10 effing seconds, don't defend him. Again, probably not a defending. Probably just an explanation. It's okay. All is well. It's fine. Also, yeah, 6 clean sheets in 9 games, and Malier is a pretty big part of the reason for that, because he is part of that defensive structure at the same time. I'm going to try and catch up with the comments, and then I'm going to... Right, okay. This is the message that... This isn't me just sort of jumping on AV. Sorry, no. This is definitely me jumping on someone and doing a bullying mentality or something like that. There was a really interesting point that I basically, when I was a kid, I did some goalkeeping coaching with someone that was the goalkeeper coach at Bradford City at the time, because he was running a coaching course, and I was like, cool, this seems really, really cool. I want to do this. I want to be good at being a goalkeeper. Thank you for the super chat, William. Shall I please give me the stats where I can find them that Melly is the best goalkeeper in the league? Not trying to argue, but I don't see it. I will admit that yesterday, when I was on Joe's stream, I did a JT and pretended that I think that Melly is the best goalkeeper in the league. He's probably not. In terms of like with his feet, I'd say he's probably one of the better short to medium range passers. Not great with a long ball, but then again, we don't really play long ball football, so I don't hate that too much. Saving, he's got the odd mistake in him, but it falls into the category of there's a reason he's in the championship. And if you're a championship player, you make mistakes, and that's fine. But on this one, gonna hop into sort of the coaching-y stuff. With the idea that Melia should have come further for the ball and the bounce never happens, bounces are always a risk. There's 2 different schools of thought on this. And when I was looking through things, I was a little bit surprised that everyone was saying this, but I had a little bit more of a Google into it, and I found out that there are, in fact, 2 very different schools of thought on this sort of thing. The first being, yeah, should have come out further for the ball and the bounce never happens, bounces are always a risk. I see that completely. And to be fair, if he comes out further, catches that ball, all is good. On the contrary, the way that I was taught the same thing was to let it bounce. Because trying to catch the ball on the full like that can lead to issues. And the way that it was explained to me is if you catch it and it slips out and you're being pressed by a forward like this, then you're going to concede the goal. And the way that you sort of deal with any unpredictability in the ball is, at least the way that I was taught, do what Melier has tried to do, give the ball a little bit of space so the unpredictability happens in front of you, you see it happen, and you respond to it. What I think the issue is here is ball's about to bounce here-ish, where our good friend Mr. Divot is. If you look around this sort of spot, it's like Melier's sort of come forward to get towards the ball. He's misread the flight of it, then thinks, okay, I'm going to back off and let it bounce and then see what happens. So he gets caught in some weird sort of middle world where he's thought, I don't know if I can get to that on the full, so I'm going to give it a little bit of time to bounce. But because he's had that conversation, he's had a little bit too late, which is, I think, the crux of this mistake. He's not given it enough time to bounce. So that unpredictability, he's not had the time to respond to it because he's not given himself the time. And that's where the mistake is, I think. I think if he fully commits to either get to it on the full or get to it after the bounce so you're 100% sure and it'll be fine, he's okay. But he's sort of 50-50'd it, I think, and that's where the issue is, at least in my opinion. If I'm talking complete bollocks, fine, say that. But as someone that has done big goalkeeping training and is looking at the way that he comes forward from here, seemingly thinking, I can get to that ball, like he's gone forward a yard there and goes, Actually, I'm not sure. And backs away. That's where I think the issue is. If he's gotten to it here, or if he's waiting for it here, he's 100% fine. He's in the one place it doesn't work, which is the problem. On this one, right? Why do we have a keeper without hands, feet, or even half a brain? This. Oh. This is where I can tell you haven't ever been a goalkeeper. Because the entire rest of the match did really, really well. Genuinely. Got to crosses. Decent number of catches. There were a couple of shots where I was like, that's a little bit of a risky one that's moved in the air. And he's just straight caught it on the full. Really good. To say that the professional goalkeeper that does many, many, many training sessions with goalkeeping coaches that you have never had access to is just crap and has no brain tells me that either you've never made a mistake in your life, in which case, well done to you, fair enough, yeah, excellent, brilliant, or that you've got very, very little empathy for someone that makes a mistake. Which is also not good. Because as I keep saying, footballers are people. People fuck up. And this. It's as I've been saying all of this season and bits of last season. There is a reason that most of our players are championship players. Lagi Ramazani didn't have that much of an end product last season in La Liga. Got a move to Leeds. Joel Piroe, movement and pressing, not perfect. Thus, didn't get picked up by a Premier League club. Crescencio Somerville's issue when we were playing in the Championship was that he wasn't really proven as a finisher. And then he became proven as a finisher. And then he got the move to the Premier League. So players at this level are going to make mistakes. That happens. That is normal. We need to start to recognize that. Yeah, that's what I'm fucking saying, Liam. I'm saying that apart from one moment, he did his job. Had a decent game. That's fine. It's okay. And then there was an issue, and that's fine. Also, just to address this, right? Joe, I'm not being paid 20 grand a week. I just very need to quickly find a statistic here. 14, divide that. 28. Right, okay, cool. So, just to give you opportunity, right? On just so we can, so I don't have to go into this long-winded fucking metaphor. To be completely clear, are you saying that if you are paid money, you don't get to do mistakes? Because you can back out of this one before I go into the much bigger metaphor of how mistakes are normal, or you can recognize that people do bad things. Not on purpose, but bad things can happen. And that's fine. There's also this, it's not really Malier's fault. If someone offers to pay you £20,000 a week, you're not going to say, actually, no, I think you should pay me less than that. Come on. Okay. Right. Here we go then. But also one quick second. Cool. It's his job. We're committing to it. Here we fucking go. Right. So, cast your mind back to 2007. Now, where were we in 2007? I personally was a 9-year-old. I was in year 5, 6, something like that. Yeah, and the club was in League One, but that's fine. As much as I was a 9-year-old, we were still in a world where if you had your job, you were never allowed to make a mistake. And if you were highly paid, then it was impossible to make a mistake because, as according to Stevie, if you get a lot of money to do a thing, mistakes are impossible, right? A man named Richard J. Glazebrook II. Hell of a name. Fair enough. Was being paid £16.5 million every single year. That being £317,000 every single week. Richard J. Glazebrook II was doing quite well for himself, and this is undeniable. Sure. And he was apparently really good at what he did, but he made some significant mistakes, right? He made some vast mistakes, including categorizing things, and you could say that he fumbled things, you know? Richard J. Glazebrook II was in asset management at the global bank of Lehman Brothers. Richard J. Glazebrook II collapsed the fucking world economy due to a series of mistakes. And he was on £300,000 every single week. As comparisons for making mistakes go, I would argue that's significantly bigger. And he was paid 15 plus times more every single week. So I think if you ever go into things saying, well, it's his job, he should do it fine and whatever. People do mistakes sometimes, and in the grand scheme of things, dropping 2 points to Sunderland, who are top of the league, whilst we're away from home when they hadn't conceded a single goal all season at home to that point. It's fine. It's okay. That's a good point, yeah. 1 and 9 are the two most scrutinised spots in any football team. And just to note, right, this issue has caused us, let's have a think, 2 points. It's cost us 2 points. Exactly what also cost us 2 points was Brendan Aronson not slotting away a one-on-one. Was Largi Ramazani, who's missed plenty of chances this season so far. Was this as well, yeah. Had a hat-trick of misses in the first half. Brendan Aronson taking the ball off Junior Firpo's toes so Firpo can't have a clean shot is also a problem. But because the goalkeeper's got more attention on them, they're always going to be the ones that get told off a little bit more. The Rats come off for Everton. Hopefully he's done nothing good. Because we do truly dislike the Rat Man. And I can see it now, right? I can look forwards. And I can look past the international break. And I can see that on... What's the date again? I believe the 19th of October, when Leeds United play against Sheffield United. I can already tell that if we get a point, a hard-fought point, against, let's be completely honest here, as much as we like to dog on them, a very good Sheffield United side that haven't lost a single match all season. If we draw that match, you can already feel the fact that a lot of people are going to lose their heads. A lot of people. I genuinely don't think we're ready for how much head loss is going to emerge if we don't beat Sheffield United, and I think that's basically unjustified. The fact that we're expected to completely lose our nut because things haven't gone perfect is I don't get it. I do not. If our backup keepers are that bad, it's a bit worrying if Mez gets injured or completely loses form. The issue with this, and it's a fair point, is that at the end of the day, if you're good enough to start for a team that's at the top of the championship, you're going to want to start for a football team. You don't want to sit on the bench. So rotation keepers in the championship are never going to be excellent because they can't be. Because if you're an excellent goalkeeper and you're second choice in the championship, you ain't going to be staying second choice in the championship. You're going to be finding a move either to a lower level championship club or a higher level side, or I don't even know. That's why I think it's hard to do. Just to be completely clear on this one, Stevie, by the way, on the fact that a keeper needs bought immediately before a defender, midfielder, or striker should have been bought before the first game. In goal, we have 3 reasonable options. I say reasonable because we've not hugely tested 2 of them. We've got 1 good option and 2 reasonable options. In central midfield right now, we've got 2 players and a Charlie Crew. So we've got 2.5 players. Maybe we call that one a priority. Maybe. Or centre back, where we also don't have many options. But no matter what, it absolutely does not matter what point of the league season we are in. Nobody that is paid to do transfers well will be looking at what's happened and going, actually, yeah, because of that one error, in the bin. Because how you do well in the world of football is if someone makes an error, is go, okay, but look at the overall. Because before yesterday, well, I say before yesterday, right now, Melier has the 7th best save percentage in the league. That ain't bad at all. Even a little bit. Genuinely a very strong save percentage. To be clear as well, better save percentage than West Brom's keeper and Borough's keeper. At least before today's matches, because that data is not updated. On this one, by the way, one, you can call me an idiot if you like, but you will note that I have repeatedly said, kinda don't want us to start Caldalo. That's not me defending him. That's me saying I understand why he's our second choice goalkeeper. That's understanding the market for football players. To say that you understand a thing does not mean that you agree with the thing. Also, yeah, he wasn't free. We paid for him. Even some roller dice from Melia he knew was vulnerable in goal. I've done this. We've done this. We've had this conversation. in which I'm going to hop back a couple of seasons on Leeds United's stats page, right? And I would quite like to know. Counterpoint to this one, right? So is the San Marino team. So should we start signing San Marinese players because they're internationals, or should we look at their qualities as players? But yeah, looking at goals against per 90, by the way, on the Allardyce thing, Joel Robles conceded more goals per 90 than Ilham Elliott did. It's not great, is it? No. And if your point of this is why we should trust X player instead of Y is because Sam Allardyce liked them, maybe that's not the way to go with it. Okay, cool. So in that case, was your choice of signing that we shouldn't have signed, is it going to be Ramazani? Is it going to be Schmidt? Is it going to be Rodon? Because at the end of the day, you got a budget. And if you take £1 million out of said budget, then you're kind of worsening what you can spend on other positions. Leeds United looking at the free agent market for a midfielder. That makes sense. I mean, I'd hope on a very short-term contract. But absolutely not. Absolutely not. And Sophie, occasionally when you come into my chat, it's a good time because you got some funny comments. But San Marino have won one game of football in their history. Are you saying the Welsh are bad players with your San Marino analogy? Kind of depends. Let's have a quick look at the Wales squad, shall we? Because when you look at the sort of side that Wales tends to pick, it's not the worst, sure. But they have kind of called up Charlie Crew a couple of times. And in terms of competition in net, we've got Danny Ward. Where does Danny Ward currently play? Danny Ward currently plays at Leicester. He's sort of decent. Adam Davis. Who's Adam Davis? Sheffield United keeper. Does he even start for them? No. He moved to Sheffield United in 2022 and has played for them 9 times. So Welsh goalkeepers, not brilliant. Ooh. Oh, ho, ho. Why would you tell me this? Why would you tell me that Mateus Klich's available when we need a midfielder? Oh my god, imagine he does double promotion with Leeds. He got a fine from the MLS's disciplinary committee. What? Why? Yeah, but there is a chance he might stay in America. I thought a club was supposed to be up and ready for the season. They've done it on the cheap. They've not done it on the pissing cheap. Jesus fucking. If a football club is doing something on the cheap, they don't sign Largi Ramazani for £8 to £10 million. They don't sign Joe Rodon for £10 million. Instead of Schmidt, they get some fucker on a loan. I just If they were doing it on the cheap, we'd have used all the loan slots, and we'd have to do such a rebuild next season that it's unbelievable. That's it. Every keeper can make a mistake. Alisson's the best in the world. Has some horrendous ones. The problem is his low save percentage. We need better. His save percentage isn't that low this season, though. That's the thing. It's currently 7th in the division. And that includes 2 penalties off the top of my head. Let's have a look. I can't do numbers right now. I'm tired. But yeah, he's 7th in the division. That's not too bad. Can he play as a 6? He can a bit. It's not his sort of dedicated position. He's more of an 8, but I can see 6 maybe being what works for him now that he's sort of a little bit on the older side. Might not have the movement he did before. Oh, good. We're having the Chikiate conversation. Be a good sign, even though he's 34, is what we need. Give him a deal till the end of the season at this level. It'd be a good move. He's also 6'4". We need height. That wouldn't be a bad move. This would be spectacular, but I do feel like he stays in the MLS. That's nice. Okay. Still got PSR to deal with. So, would you, sorry, just to be clear, would you rather we have spent £140 million and gone hammered, beaten senseless with points deductions? Is that a better way to go? No? No. Thought not. It is also in installments. There is that bit. Why stay in the MLS when you can come back to England? Odds are MLS can maybe pay a bit more. Sorry, I'm just watching the Klitsch thing that you got fined for. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Klitsch got fined an undisclosed amount because it was one of those things where someone leans their head in and they're like, actually, I'll pretend this was a headbutt, and then Klitsch just drops like a sack of shit. Again, it's PSR bullshit. That's it. I've seen Kramer rumored and he's previously played for Farker. But is that biting? I don't know. My guy, if you don't know how investment groups work, you can just say that. You don't need to just keep shouting words. Yeah. That's not how asset stripping works. Even a little bit. The only way 49ers make a profit on Leeds United is by increasing the value of Leeds United. If they were doing asset stripping or whatever bollocks people like to use as a buzzword, they wouldn't have spent significant amounts of money on Tanaka and Schmidt and Rodon and Ramazani. Just wouldn't. The way that they make money is increasing the value of the club and selling when it's worth more. That's it. That's how it works. Like, you're just shouting numbers at this point. I don't. if you want to have a conversation, you can have a conversation. If you want to scream into the void and not listen to any words that anyone is saying to make sense, that's also fine. But I mean, okay. Bye then, I guess. That's entirely up to you. But the way that football finance works fundamentally disagrees with the way that you think football finance works. Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Anyone that is screaming the words asset stripping or anything like that doesn't understand that we've hired one of the most expensive managers in the division. We keep signing fairly expensive players because we're pushing in the direction of promotion. The players that we sold this summer, there's what, 2 that we had an actual choice over? Well, 2 that we wanted to keep that we had a choice over. Well, we say wanted to keep. Because Gray, release clause. Rutter, release clause. Somerville, release clause. That's the big money people. And from there we were like, right, fine. Build around that. Didn't Kinnear admit that we didn't need to sell all 3 lead star players? Different definitions of need. So in this case, he said financially we didn't need to sell all 3. However, legally, we kind of did. Because the moment anyone comes in with an offer that hits their release clause, you have to sell. If the player wants to go, obviously. Which is why we left the door open to Archie to stay. So whilst from a financial perspective we didn't need to, from a legal perspective we did. And then they did what they could in terms of building around that to respond. Had to nip off and come back and you're still fighting fires here. I wouldn't say, like, we had a nice little bit of conversation for a while, which was really, really fun. And I think I was talking to you at one point when you weren't here on goalkeeping coaching stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't say we're fighting fires. I'd say we've come to a point where we're having a nice chat, and then occasionally someone comes in, hits caps lock, and forgets to turn it off. Hello, Stevie. Oh, dip it, that boy. What? It is indeed that boy. People don't realise our stadium rebuild team is the most expensive elite in the world, made out of the people that made Wembley, Spurs, Anfield. Yeah, like, you don't... If you want to scream the word asset strip, then surely you would be selling off the stadium, not... To be clear, I know that this one is satire. Promotion meant we sold our best players. When we what? You mean not getting promoted meant we sold our best players? I'm guessing. Otherwise, I'm very confused. Don't listen to anything Kinnear says. He's a liar. I mean, no, because he said in that Square Ball podcast that basically everything in said podcast, he said everything that then proceeded to come out about the stadium stuff. So, I mean, clearly that much isn't bollocks, right? And there's a lot of stuff that I've heard from behind the scenes people and inside sources on the rest of the stuff that he was talking about, and it seems very, very accurate. It's fine. That's the point. We are very, very close to all the mods, which is nice. You're just mad that you've not gotten your season ticket from the waiting list yet, as is many people in this chat, in all fairness. But that's a good point. The moment you guys get season tickets, the number of people in watch-alongs and stuff go down. So in fact, I think Holy, we are so close to all the mods. But I think, yeah, I think we need a stadium of 5,000 people. And I think outside they need to do watch parties that are purely like just my stream playing on repeat, but on like 15,000 devices. That is what I think the stadium investment needs to go towards. And I will be taking no questions. Newcastle, rich club in the world, and can barely spend a penny because of the damn rules. Yeah. I mean, I don't like the rules that can stop you spending money that you have, but at the same time, I'd rather we not let clubs get bought by countries. That's the bit that I hate. Last season it was 18th in save percentage. It's a disgrace we didn't replace him in the summer. There were more important places to replace. We spent a significant time without any right backs, with one left back, with very little at centre back, not much in central midfield, and the wings were not looking great either. If we go up, yeah, I'd say get another goalkeeper. But for now, he'll do in the Championship. No, not when we're waiting to get Hannah in, so we've got all of the mods. Loads more positives than that. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of positives from that match. But because it was a big negative at a bad moment, that's what we tend to focus on. I think they will, because I think they legally have to because of various regulations and stuff. 7th in the division, so admittedly not perfect, but this is where I think we're getting a little bit too extreme on things again, right? Why are we now in a position where we've got people saying, actually, we should probably force Daniel Farke to resign, surely, so we can get rid of a goalkeeper that made a mistake? What? Sorry? The best manager in the Championship's history, as in on a points per game consistency level, to be clear. I think in terms of pure ceiling, Bielsa is better. But and you're saying make them resign because you want to sell someone from under them. Because then the issue with this, right, is you immediately bump into people that are fully aware they don't need to answer the question of what happens next. Because then you ask them a question of, okay, and then who do you get? And they say, well, that's not my job, that's for the club. Yeah, that is for the club. And the issue that the club would then have is Daniel Farke would be sat in a room looking at them being like, sorry, I was 5th, we'd lost one match. We dropped points, 2 mistakes. Systemically, we were looking good. It was an issue with a couple of players making errors and bad finishing and stuff like that. Why have I been sacked? Oh, because you wanted that goalkeeper and someone online said to sell them. Upon hearing about this and hearing about this conversation, presumably asking Daniel Farke, why did you get sacked? Any prospective future manager would be like, am I bollocks going to Leeds? Because I'll get sacked for having a player that I want to pick. Madness. On this, I think our goal in effect was not to retain the ball. And that was fine, basically. Because it mostly worked. They had something like 4 shots after we scored our second. We just allowed them to have the ball and didn't allow them into dangerous areas. A little bit of discussion about League One. Until 95-50, he had a good game. He did. I was so close to being really, really smug on the post-match reaction stream and being like, well, you see, thought Ilan Melier couldn't catch a ball, and then the fucker didn't catch a ball. I felt so mad. Ooh. I would argue that you can't have a singular mushy pea. I think you can have mushy peas, the substance, but if it's just one, it's just a squished pea, you know? Non-testing as fit maturing equals wins. He's ripping it up. He absolutely is. And I'm liking the way that he's also cutting inside, playing as the 10, that sort of thing. It's fair in the worst last night with having a brand new centre midfield partnership. I didn't see much of the match as I was at a party, but it seemed to do fairly on the whole. We did really well. We deserved to win. But issues, errors, mistakes. I'm all for doom spiraling, but League One is mad. Yeah, I mean, no. I mean, people have been demanding to sell everyone always forever, so. Parker doesn't normally like to let them have the balls. He likes to control the game with possession. That's true, but at the same time, he's shown evidence of letting other sides have the ball already this season, this very week. We went 2-0 up against Coventry, and then we're like, okay, you guys go. You guys can have the ball. You guys can try and attack. And that opened the game up and let it become more transitional. And I think that was the goal here. It just didn't turn into the transitions like we hoped. Defensive work should be praised too. He's working hard right now. Long way to continue. I think this is a weird one, right? But I'm gonna drop it anyway, and I'm gonna see what people think. If Dan James is fit for that match yesterday, we don't lose. If he can come off the bench for the last 15 minutes yesterday, we don't lose. Because I think on that right-hand side, he gets back fast enough that Bogle doesn't need to put in that tackle. And if Bogle doesn't put in the tackle, then we don't concede the free kick. We don't concede the free kick. We don't concede the goal. I'm absolutely convinced that if we have Dan James for the late stage of that match, we win. And that is sad. Why has my YouTube live streaming page gone dead? Okay, that's fun. Come back, please. Oh yeah, Stevie's back. Please ask Fopo how good the keeper is. I think his actions were acceptable. Melee needs replacing. As I've said earlier, I can understand why Fopo acted irrationally and emotionally. That's fine. That's okay. All good. The difference is Junior Fopo will have calmed down. Our own fans have not. Junior Fopo, the person who has more of a right to be mad at this situation, will be significantly calmer about Ilan Meslier right now than 99% of Leeds Twitter. The vast majority. Just trying to keep up with the chat. This is the thing as well, right? It feels like part of the reason for the continuous meltdowns this season are that everyone assumes it's going to be like last season. Everyone assumes that if we drop any points, we're done. It's not the case. In the slightest. We've just proven that Sunderland are beatable. Sunderland have lost twice this season already. Burnley dropping points, West Brom dropping points. Everyone is dropping some points. We don't need to set everything on fire and start again just because we drop some points. It's okay. We're good. We're fine. Right, on this, I would go Our fans in the ground are the best. Our fans on the internet are horrendous. Because, right, in the ground, the difference is, if you're in the ground, then you have the entire matchday experience, and you are singing, marching on together with everyone around you. And there are some pretty fucking pertinent words in there for me that a lot of people online do not listen to. One, ups and downs. Way too many people, way too many. Listen to the ups part, but when anything starts to smell like a down, get rid. Pick one. You either get to sing marching on together at the start, or you get to scream every time anything goes a little bit wrong. You don't get to shout ups and downs with everyone. If when the ups you're like, fuck yeah, but then a down happens and you're like, I want him killed. No, you don't get to do that. No. Also, we've been through it all together, except those people that I want chucking in the bin because a bad thing happened. There are reasons to want players chucking in the bin, sure. And that's fine. For me, the player that, since I've properly paid attention to Leeds again, that I've most wanted chucking in a bin was Kiko Casilla. For very obvious reasons. Very, very obvious reasons. But the players that care and try and give a shit, I'm not going to be mad if they make a mistake. And some people do. Because, I'll be completely honest, drama is great for the numbers. There was a little bit of me that was very, very, very tempted to, with the cagey bollocks where I wasn't actually like invested, I didn't care too much. I was tempted to be like, you know what we'll do? Let's turn this into a drama thing. No, I did a stream, the stream going, I think it's good to have open conversation on the internet. And then I dropped it. Then I wasn't bothered. Didn't care that much. It's fine. But drama sells. And I think a lot of people see an opportunity to do some drama on the internet and go, right, I'm leaning into it. And forget that things can be fine. Thoughts on a 2-2-5-1 first half formation? I think it was very, very close to what we normally do, which we do a sort of, in possession, we played like a 3-1-6 with one of Ampadu Guerrero dropping in, considering that we... Because I would have read that as more of a 2-2-6 that we played in the first half. And the difference being that Tanaka and Rothwell played in front. That's the difference. On this, by the way, don't you call me the worst. I love my club for 60 years. Fucking div. If you loved your club to that same extent, then anytime anything went wrong, you'd be very fucking supportive. And having loved the club for 60 years, you'd have a perspective of things have been way worse than this. And we're heading in the right direction. You'd have some perspective. You tried bullying. I used to work with vulnerable people, had to know about bullying. What do you mean? I'm confused. Been there, seen everything, you idiots who just got into... I don't know what you're talking about at this point, but you're just spiraling a little bit, my guy. Honestly, I can forgive bad keeper if he's trying, right? It's the second part that made me think, yeah, you could just get out forever, please. Yeah, on this, like the amount of people that are like, we need the 49ers out immediately. They've Their first full season in charge was last season, right? When we came third, got to a playoff final, were within an inch of Dan James's shot off the bar going in from potentially going up. Then this season, we're currently fifth. We've played 5 of the top 10, and I don't think we've deserved to lose any of the matches. And we've only lost 1, and it was to Burnley, who were in the Premier League last season. So as much as head loss can be fun, as much as losing your nut is great, we've been down in League One. We've been borderline bankrupt. A little bit of perspective. Yeah, I'm talking league matches in all fairness. This is true. In the League Cup, we were bad. But there were a lot of contextual bits of information going on at that point that I think are important to discuss. Anyway, general rule of thumb. I think we were pretty good yesterday. I think we deserved to win. I think we were unlucky to not. I don't know. And I think one of the more impressive things that Daniel Farke's had to do, and he won't get credit for it, because all things considered, people will say it's easy. But squad building is a very difficult thing that a manager has to do. Squad building is a tough process. Getting a pretty good balance together, making sure that the players will play well together, have the right roles, all that sort of stuff. And he's gotten that right not once last season, when he didn't even have a squad that was particularly built by him. Built with him in mind, sure. But he came in very late in that window. And then he's had to further do a squad rebalancing this summer because of a bunch of people that have been chucked out. That's something that I think he doesn't quite get credit for. And I think Duncan's right on this. As it stands, current form and the quality of the league, we're a better bet to go this season than we were last season. I'm confident. I'm feeling good. But what I'm going to do, because I've been streaming for quite a lot longer than I was hoping, is I am going to hop us over to one of our favourite places, Questions Corner. So if you've got any questions at all, chuck them in the chat and we'll have a little bit of a conversation about them. In addition to that, I'm also going to ask a question to moderator Black Badge 10, but not about moderation things. You watching Bad Blood? Starts at 11. Pre-show starts at 10. And I think it could be a very, very fun watch. I'm very excited for that cell match, by the way. Punk and McIntyre in a cell, when they have both promised to make each other bleed. Oh. Wunderbar. Excellent. People saying Falcon needs to go. He can't stop Elon missing the ball. He can't make Nonto or Ramazani shots going. You can tell them how to get there, but he doesn't shoot. Yeah, this one. But I'll do 3 questions. And then I will head off. Hi Joe, do you think we'll win the league easy or by a small amount of points? I think it'll be in the 5 to 8 point range. Because it's not a piece of piss, this league. But can Millier win over this fan base now? Yeah. Nonto managed. And Nonto went on strike. Millier made a mistake. That's the difference. Why do you think we play so much better without fans in stadiums? I don't know. To be completely honest with you. I think a significant part of it was timing, because I think against the Premier League in first season Bielsa, we do well no matter what. Purely based on the fact that people didn't know how to deal with it yet. Whereas second season, I would say, was a case of folks adapting a bit more. Because you can't forget that we still played ridiculously well in the promotion season before COVID. Stay with Peru or back to Joseph? I think stick on Peru for at least the next match. No, wait. Sheffield United. Yeah, Peru. I don't know how many chances we get, because they are a very, very effective defensive side. And I think Peru is a little bit more clinical. Everton 0, Newcastle 0 at full time. Jesus. Again, caught the ball several times in that very match for crosses, which is what people complain at him the most for. Are you not looking at the free agent market for midfielders to cover? I think we're supposedly looking at free agents at the moment. I think it might be something that gets done over the international break. It'll have to be a line of thinking. And the final question that I shall look at in this particular stream: with this squad, do you think we'd have won the player final? I would like to say yes, because I think we're a more balanced squad at the moment. I think we're a squad that has significantly more shape and structure and knowledge of how we like to play across the park, rather than give it Somerville and hope. Assuming we've got full squad, obviously. And on this one, I'll call this the last one. I want to say probably, but you can't be sure. Most loan clauses at the minute will have recall things, depending on injuries and stuff like that. But we'll find out. I don't think we will recall him, but I think we'll have the right to. But either way, I'm going to call the stream to an end there. So if you've enjoyed this stream, pop a like on it. That'd be massively appreciated. I'm on 42 at the minute. I'm hoping we can maybe hit 50 by the end. That'd be absolutely wonderful. Subscribe if you haven't yet. That's also massively appreciated. Really, really helpful. And you could even become a channel member. It's 99p for a month, and you get a bunch of videos early and stuff like that. And as mentioned earlier, you get the feet pics. Woohoo! Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later. Doodle. And hopefully, next time I do a stream, everyone is feeling significantly more sane.